Okay, so whoops, part two. Didn't know there were gonna be two parts, but I accidentally hit the record button and turned the video off when I went to, I was trying to take a picture. So now what I'm gonna grab is like my medium round brush. So this may not be exactly the same size brush that you guys get in your box, but I think it's gonna be close. So, oh, I need more white paint. Okay, so I have nowhere to put it. So this is my first coat. I dried it so I can see my lines again. So now I'm gonna spend a much more time following the lines and using lots and lots of white paint. So again, I'm gonna start with all of these flowers that are in the background. These are behind these. So I'm gonna start back here and kind of work my way forward. And I'm going to be doing the centers very last. So I'm using lots of paint, like lots of paint. I want this kind of texture to stay in there and add to the look. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this petal here. See how this one was kind of tucked behind it, so it kind of smooths that out while it's still wet. We'll pull into the center because it helps my brush strokes not be so short and stubby, get it smoother. These things are so tiny that it's almost impossible, the way that I paint at least, to not leave too much texture when I use so much paint. So I'm just kind of doing that. Man, that green still really wet, driving me crazy. I'm gonna get the tiniest little bit of brown on my brush, like that brown umber. Maybe pull a little bit in just to make kind of more of a creamy flower. If you wanna leave it bright white, you can. And then go on over here. So now is the time, if you want these flowers to like have a tint of color, you want to kind of be doing that one flower at a time while your white is wet. And you can kind of add just the tiniest touch of the color on your brush, and it'll pull through that white and kind of just tint it. And if you start to get too much of any color, like sometimes in the wintertime when we're painting snowmen and we want a little bit of a shadow, and people start using some blues and stuff to create those shadings, and they wind up with a blue snowman. Basically, what you want to do is if you get too much color and you're not liking it, go blow dry. That locks everything in place. And then you can kind of start all over with your color again, like your white. Like I'm kind of liking how that green kind of pulled in, so I think I might actually even go take a little bit of that green, and when it's mixed with that white, kind of makes this really bright chartreuse color. So kind of come in here and kind of do some of that, like right around that middle part maybe. because I'm going to make the middles kind of yellow spotted in a second. So this will kind of come in. It's almost like a Lenten rose kind of color. Love those. I have them playing above my front door. So I'm just kind of pulling out around the center circle, not going out all the way to the edge of the petal. Kind of starting in the center and fluffing it out through that wet white. Now this would not work going back unless I'm a fast painter and what I originally painted is still wet. So most people, by the time that they paint all of 5 of these flowers, it would already be dry where they started. So if you decide to do this and do this kind of pulling the color through, you want to go ahead and do it flower by flower probably, instead of waiting like I did and deciding. Or you can just repaint, you know, white if you start at the end, and you can always re-wet your white. So yeah, I'm really liking that a lot. I think it ties the leaves in real good. And then I'm gonna go in and add some more yellow to that green. And I'm gonna kind of use that round brush again, and I'm just gonna like pop it. And so it is creating that like spongy looking texture. And so I'm not going over my strokes that I've created. I'm doing it right there in the center. And you can see it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Probably will look better and more realistic if it's not. Maybe it gets really dark in the center, a little bit more black there. Oh yeah, I'm really liking that, y'all. Love it. Okay. I might not even add any of the mosaic tiles. So we'll give you an assortment of some mosaic tiles. I was planning on maybe doing some yellow in the center, but I think I'm gonna leave it. With your, so if you go on our Stash Facebook page or Instagram, we have videos called Technique Tuesdays, and we've got one this week that was lettering. And uh-oh, what's happening? Okay, sorry, it was giving me a low battery and I didn't know if it was still recording. So I showed you guys how to do lettering in that video. So it's very similar technique here. I water down my black paint just a little bit, and then hold my brush kind of up at a 90-degree angle, and I'm just going to kind of pull. You can see I missed that line completely. I'm just going to add a few black lines where these leaves are. Very light pressure, very light pressure. And then I'm gonna add some down around the edge. Not trying to be perfect. You can see they're not anywhere near equal. I don't think I'm gonna do any around the flowers. I was maybe planning on it at first, but now I think I kind of like how they are all smushed together. I don't know. I don't know. I can't decide. Let's see. Let's play with it just a smidgen. Let's make a really dark green instead. See what happens. So add a little bit of yellow. And we'll come in here and see if we like it. Let's do a few, like right here in the center where it needs a little bit of definition. Just gonna like swipe just a little bit. Swipe, swipe. Just define. Yeah, I don't think I like it. Oh no, wait. Don't give up just yet. I'm using not a lot of paint at all. And, oh, I got white paint everywhere somehow. know, what do y'all think? I think I liked it better not outlined. I'll keep playing with it. I think a little bit of definition like this is good, but I don't like how perfectly outlined this one is, so we're gonna have to fix that in a second. We'll let it dry just a smidgen. Sometimes ignoring something is the best way to fix it. And then it'll kind of come to you. You can kind of get down the flow somewhere else. I know I might be blocking off you seeing how I'm painting materials. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. Go soften it up a little bit. Yeah, once it gets tacky dry, we can add maybe a little bit of white back over the top. Kind of soften up that outline a little bit. Make it not so perfect. We want this one to be kind of the brightest one because it's kind of right there in the middle. So going back and adding more white over the top, I think. Oh yeah, smart. Sometimes happy little accidents are the best thing that happened to a piece. Kind of go back in. If you got too much color, now that it's dry a little bit, I'm just like swiping some white onto it. If there's any petals that are like straight up yellowy, chartreusey. Yeah, that looks pretty good for on the fly kind of design work. What y'all think? Go in and add. I'm getting a little carried away now. I probably need to stop. Go in and add some texture to some leaves, just kind of a little scrubby. Den up some of these black lines. Oh, too much. All right, I think I'm gonna call it quits, guys. So if you wanted to add tiles, if you went in a different direction, maybe had a kiddo help you guys, and you want to glue these on, regular school glue can work. Just any old glue. If you don't have any, I guess we'll include a little container of glue. You can just use a Q-tip to touch out of your little jar of glue that we give you. Excuse me. So you guys let me know if you have any questions about this project in the comments.